Today I wanted to talk about two different genres of electronic music, British jungle and drum and bass and Brazilian baile funk. I've been experimenting with drum and bass and subgenres for a while, and privately I always meddle with funk. In Brazil, Brazilian funk is only called funk. And I realized this was a very necessary topic to talk about, so be with me here please. First, you might ask two things. Why these two specific styles that for a clueless listener are very distinct, and why are you making informational videos again? I'm only gonna answer the first one. So, British DnB and baile funk are really not that different. In fact, I believe that they share more similarities than differences. But before getting into their background, I have to say something. I picked these two styles considering the current context of electronic music and technology allied with internet and social media interactions. The digital realm is more omnipresent than ever, TikTok is shaping the music industry and slingshotting new acts into relevancy, and it, along with Twitter and YouTube, are making it easier for several cultural groups, niches and styles to interact with themselves and expose people to new forms of art and media. The rapid diffusion and reappropriation of content is a characteristic of a contemporary society. Social media is making it easier for a new generation of people to be exposed to whole distinct cultural movements without them ever knowing or realizing its roots, its origins, its ideas, and that's exactly what happened to drum and bass few years ago with the rise of so-called glitch break, or what I like to call virtual drum and bass. I sense that this might happen anytime soon with funk, and by being Brazilian I wanted to explore and dive into this before anything hits ultra hype, goes mainstream, and tops the charts. Without mentioning the place of origin, I can describe drum and bass and funk the same way. They are both two urban sounds, black sounds, originally created on the outskirts of their respective cities, both shunned by a wide industry, both being founded in pure rhythm, both spawning whole different subcultures and essentially shaping their urban landscapes, both using sampling as a main form of composition and creating an inner culture around it, both labeled as criminal by the media at some point and being rejected by good citizens, both drinking from US black sounds such as R&B, soul and funk, both being a fascinating mechanification of organic music, both being so relevant that I'm talking about them right now more than 30 years since their genesis, both created with the sole purpose of making people dance. Apart from the cultural standpoint, these two formats of dance music can be used together. It's the rhythm, they complement each other. Drum and bass always aimed at innovation. Since its conception with jungle music, complex drum patterns, absurd sampling and chopping techniques were the norm along with the repetition of a breakbeat loop, making it easier to be summed with another drum pattern. The main rhythm of funk, a batida or batidão, are generally so consolidated in its structure that can be shoved anywhere. It even invades your mind, because when you least expect it, you're whispering to yourself. It's a combination of the chaotic feeling of DnB and carefreeness and confidence of Brazilian funk. Both rhythms create a dynamic balance, improving their mechanical groove and musically enriching one another.
Devagar no copo da piranha. Senta, 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 oi senta, senta com a xereca torta. Senta, 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 oi senta, senta com a xereca torta. Que novinha safada, Daniel que te engravida. Que novinha safada, o Flávio que te engravida. Manda onda pra cidera, ela só quer curtir a vida. Ela faz o macete da pica, macete da pica, macete da pica. Ela faz o macete da pica, macete da pica. Mas ela faz o macete da pica, macete da pica, macete da pica. Ela faz o macete da pica, macete da pica. Olha dentro do olho, novinha essa marra. Fica dando nessa punha de pu. Dá uma maconha pra só se me punha.
Of course, they're not the same. For the sake of clarity, before DnB there was jungle in the early 90s, and then there was hardcore breaks before. It was always fast dance music, at around 160 BPM to 180 BPM, and had huge influences and shared ties with Jamaican dub, dancehall, Haga, and US garage and house. Their main sample was the legendary Amen break, along with other famous breakbeat samples, while Brazilian funk was initially slow at 130 BPM, and before there was funk, there was Miami bass and freestyle. They were huge in Rio in the mid-80s. Only around 10 years ago funk sped up to 150 BPM, and now you can find artists pushing it to 180. The most notorious sound of funk is the beatbox. Even though there are literal thousands of variations of this rhythm, the beatbox was what consolidated funk in the public ear. I don't have the time or the structure to talk in length about the history of jungle and the history of Brazilian funk. I will need a documentary time for that. And I have some interesting recommendations in the description if you want to insight about the development of these movements. It's better for you to check them rather than listen to me talk on behalf of them. It's truly a different time for both styles. DnB already re-emerged, as I said, and now producers all around the world are being interested in baile funk. Even though its more vanguard producers already knew the existence of both genres, more and more people are drawn by the hypnotic baile sound. Electronic music used to be divided by movements, and now those same movements mainly serve as a view of history, cause everyone can make everything. It's not uncommon for an electronic producer to be able to create several styles of dance music. Techno, I can make it. Synth pop, alright. House, IDM, trap, trip hop, easy. They are one tutorial away. I don't have to grow, live, and see these movements to truly understand them. I can watch a video of a questionable guy explaining it to me, so I can sell it on Bandcamp. It was never so easy to produce a song like it is now. You can produce whole albums of electronic fuckery alone with a cheap computer, without cracking your head with difficult technologies that are not friendly to you. Samples are easy to find and piracy exists. You can even make beats in your own smartphone now. It could have been anything, it could have been any style. My point with this video is not only about the convergence of DnB and funk, but a way to cast a little bit of light in both and point that what happened with them will probably happen with many more subgenres that once were despised or untouched. And there is an underlying issue that revolves around cultural appropriation and the erasure of this movement's blackness and core ideas. Is it all a sick joke? Do people like to hop on musical bandwagons for clicks and money? Yes. And if it makes you dance and was created by black people, it will probably be stolen and repurposed. But as a Brazilian, I still support the fusion and the spread of funk. The music started in favelas by black and brown DJs and MCs with the intention of bringing joy to their difficult lives and also explore the problems with Brazilian society. Now, I'm counting the days for it to take over the world. I was born and I still live in Rio and I've seen everything around it. And now, I already see mainly white US and British producers trying to claim baile funk for themselves, as if they knew already how big the style and the fusion it can make are going to be. Of course, this is bullshit. Accept the genre as Brazilian and use as you like. Just like with DnB producers, many funk artists that pioneered this style never really became rich or successful, despite the profound influence that it made in current times. In electronic music, respect to the roots is the ethical way to go. It's the minimum. I can't stop the baile funk gold rush outside of Brazil, and it's not on me to oppose it. It's what culture is, alive, made of people. I always felt the funk was destined to glory, almost as much as Korean pop music. But before hitting the absolute mainstream, it's important to understand how things were and really are for all movements and genres that you are interested to work with. I wanted to do something different with this video, thought it was an important topic. If you like my blend of British and Brazilian sound, March 10th I'll be releasing an album full of it. A true fusion blending Brazilian funk with other rhythms such as footwork, old school UK garage, drum and bass, and even breakcore and gabber. I was thinking of posting here since it's my biggest platform, and I'm already tiring myself with remixes. I want to do it all without fear of losing my reach, my fan base, whatever. I want to do goth music, I want to do breakcore, funk, whatever. This is me, this is how I do things. So, the album is ready, it's going to be released by Mad Bricks, and before that I intend to release a video clip for a single I made with a New York producer I'm a big fan of, so putting into practice this blend even more. And once again, thank you all, expect the best.